Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
You are now entering the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Fear. We have gathered together the deadliest and most depraved drag monsters in the universe to join forces with us and establish complete world domination.
That sounds like the tour promo to me.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I love it too. I love that we get to talk about supervillains because, as everybody knows, I love comic books. So tonight is my night.
But before we deep dive into the world of comics and supervillains, we need to talk about our Holiday of Horror short that has now been announced officially.
Yes. So our Holiday of Horrors special has been announced. It's going to be debuting on December 15th. It is a scripted horror anthology hosted by us with our friend David Dasmalchian, and it has 4 shorts, 1 short written and directed by us, 1 short directed by David Dasmalchian, 1 short directed by Kate Siegel, and 1 short directed by Akela Cooper, who you guys know from the show and also from the writer of The Nun and Malignant and all sorts of things.
It's kind of star-studded.
Megan.
Yeah, in the world of horror, it's star-studded from across the spectrum, but also kind of like a family reunion of Dragula guests and guest contributors. And Bonnie Aarons is in there. And there's a lot of actors that we've not been able to work with before that are also really exciting. So I hope everyone loves it as much as we do.
Yeah, Lauren Lavera from Terrifier stars in it. Bonnie Aarons stars in it. Aaron Abrams. There's just like there are a ton of great names attached to this film, and I'm very excited. So just so people know what to expect, it's about an hour long. It's short, so it's just a holiday special. It's not a full feature film necessarily, but it will be your first time being able to see a scripted project from us in the world of horror and the way we would like to make horror. So that's kind of exciting, I think.
And I think that can manifest in a couple of ways. This is just one of the lanes that we like to drive in. And we're not in our short, just to kind of put that out there. We kind of curated it and wrote it and directed it, creating a vibe. And I think it's successful, but we're not in it. So don't expect campy, expect terror.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with drag in this horror short. Like, I want people to remember this is a horror creation of ours. It is not about drag or Dragula or anything to do with that, even though Abora, who won the Holiday of Horrors episode, does star in this as the prize was advertised. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right, so we have to get into this episode of the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titans Season 2, and we're talking about Episode 8, the Supervillain Challenge. There's not a whole ton to talk about with this episode. Obviously, they start off celebrating the demise of Sigourney.
Yes. Which you can tell immediately the energy in the room is completely different. I think there was like a cutting edge that was surrounding her and her presence and just like the conflict and the competition. And now that she's been removed, I think within minutes you can really feel the difference of what that alchemy is like.
Yeah, and I still see real adamant fans out there that are on Sigourney's side, which I love because that's part of her character, right? Like, everyone's drag character comes with something, and hers comes with this, like, her cooldown is to sick her vicious fans on you.
I'm sorry. Not the cooldown move.
It is. That's one of her powers as a drag monster. So I love it. But what I was saying was I do see ardent supporters still out there for her, which I love. But I do think it's becoming a little more balanced, which I also like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we applaud the fans for being so voracious and kind of loyal to the show, but also that they can remember it is a show.
Yeah,
these are real people behind the personas and behind what you see on TV.
Well, I notice a lot of people, I really believe a lot of fans judge the performance in the floor shows with their personal likes. You know what I mean? Like, if you decide you like someone, they can do anything and you're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, because there's an identity thing happening there. You're connecting with that person. And so you will sort of make excuses for them all day.
Yeah.
And, you know, even if it's not that they hate that your favorite is doing better. It's that they hate that theirs isn't. And so that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the arena gladiatorial games, right?
Exactly. And in this arena, the atmosphere is absolutely lighter in that entrance lab. And at this stage, just to kind of like set it up in everyone's mind, we've all been together daily, round the clock, 12 to 15 hours a day for several weeks, like more than a month.
Like almost 2, I think.
Yeah. And going into this episode, everyone at this point has been filming forever, enduring this emotional turmoil for weeks because this season has been absolutely crazy and bananas. Everyone is loopy, especially Abora. Like, she is on some shit in this entrance lab.
She is, and I kind of want to talk about that for a minute because sometimes occasionally I'll see sort of disaffected, I would say new fans probably of our show that comes from other shows, and they'll be like, oh, the producers are forcing this or that. I'm here to tell you the producers are not forcing this or that. They're not. This scene is giving producer force.
You think
this
so?
Scene with the board. And the reason why is because I remember this day. We are usually there for everything, no matter what, right? We might not necessarily be sitting behind the monitors every minute that everything's happening, but we're in somewhere on the campus. And this day, we were getting so close to the end, and we're like, they're good. They've already done this and that. Like, nothing's going to happen. Like, everyone just head home for the weekend, and we'll just leave, like, whoever here to run stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I got a call hours later that was like, something's happening. There's some kind of a bit. Abora's kind of losing it. I don't know if it, And so anyways, I think there was some influence happening there.
Some prodding. So I'm like, oh, you're feeling weird. Let's make it weird times 10.
Yeah, and I think she was feeling weird because I think she was probably doubting her concept a little bit, maybe, because she always thinks so far outside of the box, and this was very in the box.
Yeah, that's actually true. I wonder if that was it.
I don't know.
It was feeling weird. Abora was feeling weird, and now I'm feeling weird. So we're gonna take a break. Let me reset, and when we come back, we'll deep dive into Supervillains. We have returned, and I think this one would be so fun to participate in.
This challenge?
Yeah. Like, outside of like being Swan and Drac and the Boulet Brothers, like just to speak to this sector of like the nerdcore fan base, which we adore and are a part of. What do you think you would do if you were given like a supervillain challenge?
Well, if I had to do it and compete, it would be different. What we did, we actually kind of did participate in this challenge because what we did was something more akin to what I would want to do. Because I love that 50s, 40s like superhero aesthetic, and what we wore was very that.
Yeah.
If I was competing, I would have had more tricks. I would have definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I would have definitely had like some kind of hand blast action. I definitely would have swung in on like a cable onto the stage 100%. Probably flash bombs too, right? Like you reach into your utility belt.
Have to have like lasers and smoke.
Yeah, so
like,
I would probably have
hopefully both.
A lot of props. I probably would have asked them to shoot me upside down so it looks like I was crawling on the wall.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would wear what I wore, but maybe had a bunch of gags.
See, I would need a huge cape, like super humongous with like a wind mover, so that as I stood there, it was like rippling to my right, like really extreme.
Yeah.
With the fog and the lasers. But one of the things I loved that I saw in the floor show, and Cynthia was the only one to do it, was to take off the mask.
Yeah.
Because I think being masked and hiding your identity isn't just for superheroes. It's absolutely for supervillains. And when you think about iconic ones like Mysterio or Cobra Commander, I mean, especially Cobra, like there's that mask and like the mystery of like what is under it. So I'd be like really focused on that. I think.
I like that. That's fun. Just to speak on Cynthia's look for a minute, I thought the thing was confused, right? Because she kept saying in the labs here, this is about beauty standards. And, she's trying to somehow make it make sense. But then when she took off her helmet, she just looked like Cynthia. So I'm like, well, this isn't really a commentary on beauty standards unless you took it off and your face was like super misfigured or something. Then I'd be like, okay, I get what you're going for. But the eye of the beholder. And I feel like she's like, I love this look and I made it. And now how do I make it make sense?
Exactly. I'm like, I could be wrong, but I'm like, you made that up. You designed this whole thing and then you're like, oh shit, what does it mean? And then figured it out.
Totally. Or she took off her helmet and she had like Coke bottle glasses, or like somehow tie it into eyes or sight, or a beam that comes out of it. I don't know, something.
Either that or maybe the look could have been pushed to a more grotesque place and it was like very sort of ugly looking. And then when she took the mask off, it was just gorgeousness, just deadly beautiful.
So let's actually just skip onto the floor show, because not a lot happens in the labs. They're just focused on getting ready. They're in good moods. I love it. It's a fun episode. Which is fun. It's good to see a fun, light episode. For the last time, but certainly isn't next episode. But let's talk about our guest judges, right?
Yes.
So we have the one and only Todd McFarlane, who I was so happy to have on. If you're going to do a comic book challenge, this is the guy you want.
Legendary.
And I think of him as from the old school of comics. And then we have Steve Orlando, who I think of as more from the new school of comics, who writes everything that you could read from like Marvel and DC.
Tons of stuff. Who we've worked with kind of closely. He co-created with us our Heavy Metal Takeover last year, the year before, and we've actually developed this very in-depth world of the origin story of the Boulet Brothers, which that is going to be out there one day. Like that has to either be a film or a graphic novel or both.
It's going to be a film and it's going to be the musical.
Putting it into the universe. I love
That's what's going to happen. Yeah, so first of all, Steve is a friend of ours, like Swan said. We see him all the time when we go to Boston or when he comes here. I don't have a ton of friends that I can nerd out about comics with, and he is one of them. So it was great to have him there. And of course, Todd, not only does he have the history of creating iconic supervillains and heroes, but he also has his whole toy company. So he really knows how to look at the details of, because it's not like a G.I. Joe figure. I mean, they're like detailed.
And he brought all of that expertise and all of that kind of priceless advice to the judgment. Like I think during our watch party, and there's a lot of people there that have been guest judges on the show before, and they're artists in their own right. We're looking at each other like, wow, Todd is really bringing like the insight. Yeah, I thought it was like kind of priceless.
I did too. So those are our judges, and then we have the floor show. So we talked a lot about the floor show. I had a couple of thoughts that I didn't share.
Okay.
So I want to, I thought we could each take our turns and do that. JK's stuff did break a little, which I think counted against him ultimately. Cynthia, I would not have scored as low on this challenge had it not been the culmination of the season. I was really considering that when it came to how to score and who to send home or put up for extermination. Yeah, because I
Are you talking about track record?
I'm talking about track record. Okay. Track record definitely mattered with me. I judged her harsher than I would have had she had a couple of wins under her belt. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to something that Todd said, because for me, it's always about the presentation, the drama. This one really lends itself to a huge, powerful stage presence, and the ideas need to be like super strong.
The ideas,
yeah. And I think Cynthia definitely had the ideas on lockdown, and she knows how to kind of stomp around the stage in a commanding way, which I love. But like Todd said, like the entrance and the exit really need to be like performed, and I'm not sure if every opportunity was taken.
I agree with that. Also, Abora, I have to say this. I love the gag. The gag is what saved Abora, because he was Bizarro, mama. Like, he was Bizarro, period. Yeah, and we told him to come up with an original concept and look, and this was literally Bizarro.
Was so worried for them, and in my deepest place of my heart, I was just like, just change the colors. Just change the colors, and it would have made such a huge difference,
You're right. You're totally right. Like pink and black, those I think of Abora as like Abora's official colors.
Sure. I mean, why not? It could be so many combos.
Yeah, with a little tuft of yellow, right? That's very Abora.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. The polka dots from season 2, even the testimonial, like the talking head shirt he's wearing this season.
Yeah, and then we had Eva, who was flawless.
Yeah, when we go back to that idea about presentation and sort of embodying the character and like bringing the drama, it was from the first step on stage throughout the performance to the last step off stage.
Yeah, the delivery was
Complete.
flawless. And
Yeah.
I mean, even JK says that, because JK to me would be the second person in line to win that challenge, and it was very close. But the mandible or the legs breaking off of his costume did not help him any.
No.
The makeup was fantastic.
Always.
though.
Oh my God, the makeup is always so tight and incredible. And the silhouette was really strange in a good way.
I agree.
Like those two protruding insectoid wing suggestive. I don't know what it was, but I didn't care because it looked cool. Like it was a very interesting silhouette with the hair and everything.
I think if he had had a little more volume, like wings or a big legs coming out of his back or something, it would have maybe pushed him over the edge.
Yeah.
But he stumbled a bit in the presentation with the things breaking, and Eva, unfortunately for him, just delivered a kind of perfect presentation.
Yeah. And JK says that I think even a few times throughout the season, like it's tough doing so well. And make no mistake, I think JK has rewritten his story. The way that people perceived him after season 5 and the way that people perceive him now, they should be like completely different. That is night and day.
I think
That
they
is two
are.
different people. But so there's got to be this kind of frustration that JK talks about sometimes, where it's like, how can I can be great, but then she's perfect, and that's tough. That is
Tell you
annoying.
what, that's Titans. That's Titans, because that I felt like in Titans 1 that happened with people too.
Yeah.
Everyone was showing up at such high level, but it's like you kind of got to be perfect. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it makes it difficult.
Yeah, not everyone can do that.
Well, it's not easy. Nobody can really do it, but you got to do it better than the other people do.
Yeah.
So, did you have any other feelings about the floor show that you didn't share?
I think we covered everything
Yeah.
during the episode. And even though there was the malfunction of the legs, I thought that kind of breaking them off and using them as weapons was the plan all along. It's just unfortunate that the base kind of like fell off the costume. And it's kind of ironic because we see them in the creatives where it was like use like an insane amount of like this cement and it isn't going to go anywhere. And of course it's like, that's like the curse. Like that's my
I know.
world too. Like
I know.
don't ever verbalize it. Like don't put something into the universe unless you want it, because when you say it, I think there's a power to that. So I would avoid doing that at all costs.
Yeah, maybe if they had been on some kind of retractable string. I mean, that's not easy to do, but you could be crafty and
That'd
do
be
that.
cool.
So if you kind of pulled it out, swung it around, and then let it suck back to your body.
Yeah. It's about surprises,
Yes.
right? Because when you said the wings, like what you see is not what you get. Like
Right.
when you first see the costume, you're like, wow, this is cool. This is so artistic and interesting. But then it's like, if somehow the carapace opened and like wings came out, that would be like, mwah, like incredible. When Abora lifted off the ground, surprise. Eva's smoke gag and then the black light, surprise. So and even something as little as like Cynthia showing her face, like that identity reveal is not necessarily what you expect when you see someone so covered and hiding their identity.
I agree with that. So we send them to the cauldron, and then they come back. Eva wins this episode. I would say JK is like right there, right? And then we send Cynthia and Jaharia back to hell, which was hard to do. It was hard to do. Jaharia, I was like rooting for Jaharia. Not that I wasn't rooting for Cynthia, but I think it was kind of obvious that maybe Cynthia wasn't going to progress past this point. Whereas Jaharia has shown so much promise the whole time. I really do think she dropped the ball with this look.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it hurt.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it was a fall from grace or anything, because I didn't even have any more tears on my head. But but we're not done yet, because just after this scene, we go to the Hellbound Showdown.
Right.
We go to Blackberry with her Junji Ito, Gogo Yubari mashup versus Sigourney's Time Witch.
Yes.
And that's exactly how I'm seeing them. Like this is from like kind of a Japanese influence, like fantasy world, cartoony, but maybe more manga, comic booky. And then Sigourney was serving, to me, it was very like an Olympian god, like a Hera.
Kind of, or like an Isis like an ISIS type character from the Shazam universe. I think she was kind of giving that. So let's talk about this Hellbound showdown, because either one of them could have progressed. I think ultimately Blackberry, I liked Blackberry's concept when I first saw it. I hated the tights. The tights took me like completely out of it. I couldn't get into that. But also it was such a literal reference to an established character that it just was almost cosplay in the same way that Abora was. And I thought the prop took away from it because it was sort of bouncy, and so when she was like hitting it on the ground, it was bouncing and sort of smushing up, and it took the danger out of it. Sigourney, it's not like Sigourney slayed it, honestly, but the time piece rotating in the stomach sold it to me, because that's so comic book. It's so Hour Man.
It's
like
so
you come
cool.
up, you spin the thing, and you change time, right?
Yeah.
Either forwards or backwards. And I'm like, okay, you got me, gal.
No, it was good. And I think for me, it just comes down to this. When I look at these looks, was Blackberry's cool? Absolutely. When I even saw it months later after editing and stuff, when I look at it again, I'm like, damn, it really holds up. It looks great in that lighting. The illusion is there. It's two-headed. It's super cool. Is it super villain?
Right.
And in my world, I felt like Sigourney's concept, the shine, the hair, definitely the hourglass gag, the scepter, it was giving a very established trope from a super world, like a super villain world. And I just thought it was stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that. All right. So at this point, we know for sure that JK, Abora, and Eva are all making it to the grand finale. And we still, we'll see next episode. I don't want to get too into the ultimate outcome, but we do tell them that their challenge for this season of Titans is not to do Filth, Horror, and Glamour. It's to do 4 looks, which are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And this, to me, ties back to season 1 of Titans, where we tried something different with the finale format. Unsuccessfully, I would say the crowd, the audience was not a fan of it.
They were not feeling it.
And I said it then. Remember, I said it way back then. I said, if I ever do another season of Titans, these competitors are going to hate you all as fans, because of you, I'm going to make them do 4 looks. I'm going to make them do so many looks that you're sick of looking at looks by the time you get to the end of the episode.
I agree. And look, I set out to right all the wrongs that Titans 1 may have made. This season, I think I went in thinking everything I could possibly do to make this better, bigger, nastier, more dramatic, more drag, more amazing. We really tried to set out and do that.
Yeah.
And I think we succeeded. I think this is perhaps the best season of the show. And the finale reformatting just adds to that.
I agree. It shows that we tried really hard. We put a lot into it, and I think it was very successful. There's of course salty people because their favorites go home. Of course, we brought so many fan favorites back, and they can't all make it to the end. And so I get it, but I think overall the season is doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
I mean, the fan base has maybe doubled since the last season of the show, which is crazy to me, but people seem to really like this format. And we're going to have to take a real different take, I think, on the next season of Dragula, not a Titan season. And I think I'd wait a little while before I do another Titan season, at least 6 months, I had so much fun doing it.
I know, so
good. I just want to do a Titan season.
We did it right
next.
this time. I feel like last time we didn't really know what to expect from people coming back a second time. And this time I felt like we were extremely prepared and we had tons to throw at them.
Yeah.
And also just tons of things that we just wanted to see happen. Like in this episode, we wanted to have a Princess Diana moment where we're dressed in civilian clothes. We see, and then we do our spin and the insta change transformation. It's so dumb, but made me so happy.
Me too. Those are the moments that I'm like, okay, they're little rewards at the end, doing that intro and then having our supervillain look, which is completely inspired by Marvel Comics Black Widow from the 1940s, her first costume where she had kind of it's very exactly that.
Literally the same character that we've grown to see in a lot of the Marvel movies today, but this is like her original, and it's very different. It's very from a time gone by. Like,
she was
cool,
very femme fatale, like Russian. She had big furs, and she was like fabulous, and she's cool. Now they've just turned her into basically a young ninja. American girl with red hair.
Yeah.
Like, how disappointing, Richard. Okay, so little tease for next week. Next week's episode is the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titans Season 2 Last Supper reunion. So that's going to be wild. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll come back and talk with you all about what happens after that and the culmination of everything, which comes to fruition at the end of that next episode. But we do have a lot of listener questions that we should answer. I wanted to make sure we had extra time to do that today because a lot of the good info, I feel like, from these reviews are in the answers to the questions that the fans write in. That's where you get to see the real stuff.
This is where the real tea is spilled.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
Let's begin. Ruby and Ash from Brisbane writes, "Hi, Dracmorda. We're curious to know, who is your favorite mutant?"
Oh, this is a hard one. My favorite. I hate favorite questions.
That's my line.
I do too, though. Like, I love Storm for the longest time, but I hate what they've done with her recently. They, of course, make her like the most powerful thing ever. She's a god. She can change, control cosmic weather and I'm like, please. Why has everything got to be Omega level? This and that. It's so annoying. So I'm not going to go with that answer. I used to really like Psylocke, who was Betsy Braddock back before she was a ninja, and she was like a white British girl in armor, right? I liked her then because she was vulnerable. You were like, okay, she's kind of powerful, but she'd get her ass kicked and almost killed like very easily.
Yeah, that always makes for a more interesting story. Like the Omega level threats, it's kind of like, it's boring at this point.
It sure is. There's another one from Alpha Flight named Goblin, who I liked a lot, who's a little black girl who was a twin, and her twin was this evil gremlin thing, and she could switch places with it, and it would come out and like, if she was in danger.
That is cool.
And like fuck everything up. Mutants. I mean, I don't know. I like a lot of them. I like Selene, the Black Queen, a lot.
You are really going the distance on this question.
All right. Well, I asked you in the episode. I said you don't even want to know.
And I have an answer.
No, I'm not saying that. I asked you. You don't want to know who mine is. You didn't even ask me. Anyways,
well, because I knew what I was going to unleash. It's like Pandora's box. Hi, my name is not Steve Orlando. I'm not your comic book nerd friend that you can talk all this stuff, even though I do know everything that you're talking about. My favorite mutant is Mystique. I love Mystique. I love her abilities. I love her story. I love her vulnerability. I would love her powers. Like, she's badass. That's
the mutant whose powers you'd pick if you got to pick one?
Kind of, yeah.
Really?
I think the shape changing is super cool.
I think if I had to pick one, I would probably just pick Professor X's powers because, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Mike from Chicago asked, on a recent episode of the podcast, Mortem mentioned not liking shows with gangs of little kids. That made me wonder what you two think of the TV show Stranger Things. Okay, so for me, when I say I hate movies with gangs of little kids, I sort of mean it in a specific way because I liked the first season of Stranger Things because I felt like there was danger involved and the kids could actually get killed or messed up. Whereas that's why I usually have a problem with kid gangs because they won't, the directors and the writers won't do anything.
They won't hurt the kids.
They won't hurt the kid.
Yeah.
I love the Goonies, of course, that was a little kid gang. Oh my God,
like I'm biting my tongue because I love a little kid gang.
Well, I don't like it when they're safe because when I see little kids, I'm like, okay, I already know there's like 60% of things are not going to happen to them.
Right, the fear and the possibilities are like cut in half.
So that kind of ruins it for me, and that's why. But I did like the first season of Stranger Things. The longer it continued, I lost more and more interest, and now they're like 45, so we'll see how that's going to be. Are you going to watch the last season?
I'm going to. Look, as a completionist, I have to. Yeah. Like, I was a fan of Stranger Things for years. Like, the first couple of seasons, 2-3 seasons, I was all in. And it was kind of interesting, too, because if I'm not mistaken, the year Dragula came out was the year that Stranger Things came out, like the same month. And then The next year, we both had our second season.
Yeah.
Then we skipped a year between 2 and 3, and so did they.
I know.
And it was uncanny. I'm like, wow. Like, there's like this strange parallel between what's going on in the production of Stranger Things and the production of Dragula. And here we are years later, and we're both standing. I think last year it got a little convoluted, even though I do want to know what's happening with this like Russian wormhole thing and how they're moving around. Like I need a recap. But this question made me remember, I do like Stranger Things and I love the Goonies and even Escape from Witch Mountain and Return to Witch Mountain and just the trope of kids in danger. It can be fun.
Somebody said something on TikTok the other day and I was like, oh my God, it's so true. They were like, if me and my kids had found E.T., we would have beat it with a hammer and threw it in the river. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so real.
That is hilarious.
Like because of the generation we're born in, I'm like, that is exactly what would have happened.
Mm-hmm. Jerry from Indonesia writes, is there any chance in the future there'll be a mix of the LED screen and the new stage? Since it will be cool to keep this amazing stage but elevate it with the LED just like the older seasons. I like this idea, and I think we've talked about this as a potential. Who knows for the future? I don't think it would ever be a giant splash LED screen in the background, mostly because I think it detracts from the drag.
Me too.
It detracts from what we're supposed to be looking at, highlighting, and judging. But I do think maybe a smaller panel or 2 support panels on the sides could just add to the visual without like dominating it.
Yeah, just to go into it for like a quick minute, I think the original director of the show, who also edited the floor shows, he was like a music video creator. Like he's brilliant. He thinks of these really outside of the box visuals and he's very into and inspired by music videos. And I feel like for a long time, his interest really leaned into making a good music video, and he would forget the point of the show is a competition. We tell them to dress like a vampire, then we go watch them build their vampire costume, and now we see them show their vampire costume.
It's a combo though too, because back then we had a different mindset. It was, we want to show these drag artists in the best light possible. So what we ended up doing was editing out all of their fuck ups, and then putting together like a slick, glossy music video style floor show. But then we learned in the years that came after, people would be like, what are the Boulets talking about? Like the judgment that we see doesn't really match the visuals that the fans get to see. And that's why you see flashbacks, and that's why you see people kind of flopping or, messing up way more now in the later seasons, because it just sort of justifies the judgment and helps the fans see it for the way that we see it. Yeah. But back then, the call to order was make it as slick and beautiful as possible. And that's what he did.
I think so too. And I love what he brought to the floor shows and how he helped establish what they were. For me, I wanted to bring it back in season 5 when we started directing it to, this is a competition. We want to focus on the person on the stage. Is there a world in between? Maybe. It's a huge, huge budget sink to do that. And I think we traded that for the new stage that we built. Maybe we'll get to the place where we can do it. But it also requires someone to edit video for it, then use all these licensing. So it's kind of a pain in the ass.
It could be interesting too, even if we would have to sink the investment in. And Drac and I have not talked about this to any great length, so we're kind of just hashing it out now. But it doesn't necessarily have to be every episode either. It could be a supplemental, like if it's like the comic book or Supervillains, you could do like a graphic novel on the video screen and have them pose there. It'd be kind of cool.
It just adds another pain in the ass level to try to, But anyways. Kim from South Carolina asks, do songs inspire your monstrous challenges, or do challenges come to mind first and then you match them with the song? Who wins when you both have strong differing opinions about a challenge song?
I would say that we come up with a challenge. The challenge is what inspires us the most. And I think that's the thing that Drac and I are kind of great at. We enjoy it. We still have tons of ideas, and it's kind of like never ending. We get off on it. And once it's created, then we match the music to what we now know the visuals are. This might be the only instance where if it's like, what song is going to go here, and you and I are locking horns, where we might go more my way, like Swan wins, just because I'm more keyed into like the sound and the songs and even the podcast editing and stuff like that. So it's sort of like my world.
All right, let's take a quick break and we will be back and answer the rest of your listener questions.
All right, my darlings, we have returned, and it's time we move on.
All right, for some reason they left off the name, but I'm still going to ask this question. My question is regarding the effects of the 2 disqualifications and the Hellbound Showdown. Since there was a double elimination, if neither Jade nor Zava got eliminated, would the lineup of the showdown changed? Would we have gotten a sickening 3-way battle? The answer is yes, you would. I was pretty annoyed at the way it went down because I thought that beyond having to send them home and I wanted them to be at the finale and I wanted them to continue to compete in the Hellbound Showdown, it kind of screwed up this new concept that we have, which was the Hellbound Showdown. I did not want it to be a situation where whoever went home last takes out the current person and it just I really wanted someone like Loris to just like slay all the way through to the end.
I mean, Jade was doing it.
I know.
Jade was doing it.
Know.
I mean, God, it was what a missed opportunity.
Jade could have somehow gotten back to the finale.
I could see it.
Had it not been for like behind the scenes shenanigans. Mm-hmm. It's wild.
And also, Swan, who is your favorite mutant? That's hilarious. I've already answered. It's Mystique. Maurice from Lisbon, Portugal writes, I heard on a recent podcast episode that you will be traveling to Rio soon. I was born and raised in Fortaleza. Please forgive me if I butchered that name. Fortaleza, Brazil, and lived in Rio for 3 years. What are you most excited to do while you are there?
What I'm most excited to do in Rio, I can't talk about on this podcast. So next question.
It's a part of the world we've never been to. And even when we're traveling for work, like Drac and I always manage to kind of like detach and escape and go explore. So we love to explore the cultures, the people, the food, the beaches, the natural beauty. I think there's a lot to look forward to.
Oh, there's a part 2 to this question. 2. Rewatching previous seasons and listening to your recaps has made me very curious about what happened in the parking lot during season 3. Will we ever get to know the full story about the incident?
Probably not.
I mean, I could tell them what I know, should I?
Yeah, but it's kind of like I hate shit like this because it is not firsthand experience.
Right,
this is
that's what I would say.
It's like a telephone game.
The truth is, I don't know for sure what happened.
Yeah.
Ian knows because people called Ian and told him that they witnessed it, but none of us witnessed it for ourselves.
Yeah.
But apparently there was a cast member who came across another cast member in the parking lot and attempted to beat the hell out of them. Now, I don't know if it actually came to physical blows or if it was just threats. I don't really know, but it was a huge fiasco and it was a whole scene. So, yeah.
My recollection is that it was like threats and like kind of like chest bumping. You know, it got close to it, but the line wasn't crossed.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have to intercede then, you know?
Yeah. I've never quite understood how someone could claim that they are somehow physically incapable of just functioning regularly, but have the power to try to beat someone's ass. That's an interesting juxtaposition.
That's a trick. And there's actually a third part to this question. I'm an engineer who recently released a song with my partner. I'm really inspired by how you two manage your personal and professional relationship as the show's producers. Do you have any advice on how to effectively separate professional and personal lives while growing as both artists and partners? That is a trick.
I mean, we kind of don't. The thing is, I think we talk about our work because it's creative work a lot and we enjoy it. So the lines get blended a lot, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll be out at the movies and then we'll kind of like start talking about, well, what do you think happened on the floor show today? You know, or did you see this or that? And we'll start talking about work. So it kind of mixes up a little bit.
No, it does. And I think for us, we might have a little bit of an advantage or kind of like an upper hand because the identity of the Boulet Brothers is different than who we are just as people in our regular world. So we literally look different and kind of act different and are different. So I think it helps us separate those two worlds. But I think you also have to be like good friends underneath it all and like enjoy each other's like collaborative energy. And it doesn't feel like work so much. It just feels like life.
You have to really know where you fit as a puzzle piece with the other person. And it takes sacrifice, I think. And you either learn to adapt and value the times you get along more than the times that you don't, or you go off and do your own thing. Bozo from Boston, Massachusetts asks or says, I paused the episode to write in. Who is Swan's favorite mutant? Also, who is Drax? Absolutely loving the episode and the season and was left dying to know her answer. Perhaps she's had more time to think.
Yeah.
So still Mystique, huh?
Listen, I read her title for a while. I think she's a cool character, and I think it's more than just the powers. It's like, what powers would you want? Yes, I think the powers are a big part of it, but I like her skills as an espionage, an assassin. She's like sort of the right hand man to like Omega level mutants, and I think it's cool.
I think since you've been asked this question thrice by the fans, you owe them a little more than one cheap.
Okay. I'll say I like Mystique, I like Nightcrawler, and I love Spiral from Mojo Verse. I think she's super cool.
And you like Callisto because you look most like her.
Yeah, I do love Callisto. I love the Morlocks. I mean, who else? The Stepford Cuckoos, and that's like those are Emma Frost's kind of proteges, like very cool.
All right, and you like Beak too.
I did like Beak. That whole era was so good.
Grant
it was
Morrison's
so strange
X-Men.
and like very cool.
Excellent.
And that's where we got Cassandra Nova. Like it was during that period, and now we've seen her in a modern Marvel movie.
And of course, they didn't make her old, which is so stupid. But anyways, I'm not getting into that.
God, that's like what they're doing with Destiny too. And speaking of Mystique, like they made her young, super young, and she's like that's like an old woman.
Yeah. That was the whole point. Anyway, because Raven Darkholm, who is Mystique, was just as old as she was, but she just didn't age like her. Anyways, next question, Kyle from the Philippines asks.
Kyle from the Philippines writes, I'm astounded for the semifinal episode this week and the revelation of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse floor show finale. Wow, you made it sound very epic. Thank you. What made you both choose this prompt, and will it ever be a staple for the Titans finales down the line, much like the 3 tenets of the regular season?
I think it could be, these cast members are supposedly dead. We kill them in their season if they don't win or make it to the finale. So it has to be a gladiatorial game of the underworld, not in our living world. So we have to do something different. So I think a celebration of the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse makes a lot of sense.
It really does. Another variation I could see is just like the world of gods and goddesses, right? Like channel a god, whether of the underworld or whatever. But the underworld is definitely the realm of the gods. So
yeah, I don't want to go near gods and goddesses because I can just hear it now. There's like a tiny island nation with 13 people on it, and some fucking nerd on Reddit will be like, you didn't know about the god Tezcatlipoca? No, and neither did you until someone else said it on TikTok and you copied them. Anyways, I'm not bitter at all. Moving on. Brian from Denver asks, I am emailing with a question about a season many years ago. I think it was season 4. I recall seeing a promotional banner online that featured a pair of contestants, possibly twins, in the same shot. I think they were dressed as latex rabbits. Was there ever going to be a pair of contestants on Dragula that was eliminated before the show was filmed or aired? No, there was not. Yeah, I don't know where you would see a promotional banner because there was never anybody like that. Maybe you saw a fan casting or something, but
the only thing I can think of, because it was season 4, J. Jolie's promo look was that white rabbit. Maybe somehow they mirrored her for the promo image.
But I would put a drag duo on if they were real, not if they just came up with it for like if they did it for a long time.
I mean, there's endless possibilities, like the cries of unfairness, the tears of someone who has to go against 2 people, but then the amazing possibility of turning them against each other. Like, holy shit,
That's
I would
interesting.
absolutely do that.
But also, everybody would hate them. I mean, just out of the gate, everybody would hate them. The other cast members, which is great. So I will definitely do it.
Gabriel from Seattle, and this question is for me. I remember you said you was a Madonna fan, and I was curious if you heard of this goth trance cover of Erotic by the artist called Raised in Black. It was one of the many goth and alternative songs I listened to as a kid, and I was curious if you've ever heard it. Well, Gabriel, I don't think I have. I'm going to go listen to it right after we're done recording. If I've heard it before, I will remember, because that's the way my brain works. But if not, I really appreciate this recommendation because I love that. I love that song. I love that era, and it'd be cool to hear a goth remix.
Matt from Portland asks, in the Boulet Brothers Horror Picture Show, such a fantastic episode. Thank you, Matt. Great taste. Jack Morta says the contestants will be acting, twirling, and swirling. Please tell me that twirling and swirling was a callback to Erica Clash from Titans Season 1. I can report the answer to that is yes.
Of course. Nick from New Hampshire writes, in a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, oh my God, this is so funny because we were just talking about watching it yesterday. Woodstock eats turkey at the end of the special and seems overly gleeful about it. Does this make Woodstock a little yellow cannibal in your opinion? And I would say yes.
Do you? I mean, I suppose technically it is, but birds do eat other, like if you put chicken out, like cooked chicken, birds will eat it.
No, 100%. I mean, snakes eat other snakes too. And anytime that cannibalism comes, whether it's people or the animal world, I think it kind of screams that it's not right. And I think Woodstock is dead wrong for this.
I recently read an article about how they discovered Neanderthals would kill and eat other Neanderthals.
I saw that too.
Yeah, interesting. So, it looks like all of us with the beating heart, when times get desperate, we'll do what we have to do
to survive.
I don't think I could eat another person. I could do that.
I could do it.
You could, because you're the Shauna of our group.
I could do it.
You would chop them up and cook them like little, what are those little chicken skewers?
A little satay.
Yeah. Make little finger satay. Anyway.
I think the fun part would be choosing who's going to die first so that the rest of the clan can survive.
Whoever's the loudest and most annoying. If you ever want to survive.
I say the most useless because it's about communal.
You could be useless. Like, what if you're super hot and nice and pleasant and you smell good and you're cute?
I think you have a use.
Good point. That's how you survive as a Boulet henchman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Daniel from Sao Paulo writes, and about the actual show, in previous seasons, you had Divine as the patron of Filth. Have you considered a full Divine John Waters challenge for any season?
Yes, that's one of those challenges where John Waters has to be the judge. If John Waters says yes to judging, then we would put together a John Waters / Divine themed challenge. Yeah. Aubrey from Wichita, Kansas asks, I must know more about Drac Morta's kid gang that you mentioned last episode. Please spill the tea, mamas.
Okay, from my perspective, and I've known Drac a long time, it was just ironic to hear her say that she doesn't like little kid gangs because instantly there's story after story after story of the mill and breaking into this thing and in the tunnels under the city and out in the woods and, just tormenting your neighbors and stuff. Like, that was your gang.
It was. It really was. I don't know how we didn't get arrested, but we didn't. But yeah, we had many crazy adventures. I can't disclose these. Just classified.
Just picture Little Drac as a member and kind of like one of the leaders of their version of the Goonies.
I thought of it more as the Suicide Squad and that I was the Amanda Waller of the group.
Oh my God. Oh, we are out of time. Thank you all for listening to the newest episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night. If you have any questions about this episode, the next episode, or any upcoming project, please write in to creatures@bouletbrothersdragula.com and we will do our best to answer your question. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review. That's it for now, and we'll see you next time, Uglies.
Happy Thanksgiving!
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted and produced by Drac Morta and Swantula Boulet, with music by Neuron Spectre.